this is the beginning of what I think is a long-term trend of weather patterns and storm impacts that we are going to see across scores, if not 100 different communities in Western Alaska. And we have to think differently about how we manage the impact that it has, both in terms of the immediate response. And I'm so thankful for the work that Anchorage has done in particular, as well as Team Rubicon and many other response agencies. But we've got to think differently about how we're going to be preparing for the future and knowing that there's going to be another storm next year. There'll be, more in years to come. But the key thing I want to bring to this discussion is to think about how we could create a fund that would be actually tied to creating positive economic benefit for communities in the future. That is to say that we are going to need to build a bunch of houses to replace those that were damaged, but we're going to need to build new houses as we move communities like we've seen with Newtok that has, moved. And I want to see the investments in this fund used to, in part, help create long-term regional economic development capacity to invest in the hardening if that's needed for seawalls and riverbanks, or building houses either for recovery or for moving to new locations, creating the local capability for utility growth, so that if we start investing in climate resilience, that we're actually investing long-term in community capacity to create jobs and to create long-term economic activity in these rural communities. And we're actually looking at this not as a long-term challenge in terms of how are we going to manage the expense, but that we turn this around and look at the question of how do we manage this investment.